ago, I'd hit rock bottom. I'd just gone out of a relationship that had ended badly. My family dog and trusted companion of 14 years, Tigger, was dying of cancer. And I was abruptly let go from a kindergarten job when I disclosed I was seeking treatment for depression and anxiety. The year after this, we had social unrest in Hong Kong. The year after that, COVID hit. Life was looking pretty bleak. As a society, we were more divided than ever, and it seemed like no one looked out for one another anymore. At this point in time, I lost faith in people. They were selfish, unreliable, and lacked compassion. Dogs, however, dogs were great. They were a constant source of support, joy, and companionship. And it was my family dog, Tigger, that showed me this. We'd adopted Tigger at 6 months old from the SPCA. After years of pestering my dad for a dog as a child, he finally gave in and promised to get me one when I turned 14, so long as I was the one that took care of him. A big ask for a 14-year-old, but a challenge and responsibility I accepted with pleasure, so long as I got to have a dog. I walked him 3 times a day, fed him, bathed him, made sure he got his medication and vaccines on time. He was my best friend. He gave me structure, taught me responsibility. He was my absolute world. He also introduced me to the joys of hiking. I used to hate it. My dad would drag me and my sister out of bed early on weekends to go, and I just didn't see the point of it. But when we got Tigger, I saw how happy and confident it made him, and it eventually became a weekly routine and something I looked forward to. People in the neighborhood started to recognize us, and I made friends with other kids on the block, other dog walkers, security guards. Walking him became my form of self-care, and without knowing it at the time, probably kept me afloat when I started to struggle with my mental health in my late teens. When it came time to apply to university, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to help animals, and I thought the only way to do that was as a vet. But given the brain fog I was experiencing and the inability to concentrate, this didn't really bode well with my studies, so I went for the next best thing, animal science. I ended up at a uni in the UK in a class of 14 people, and we were often paired with the agricultural students whose aspirations were in farming and trying to figure out how to get the best yield of milk from their cows. And I just didn't fit in. Unlike Hong Kong, there weren't many other half-Chinese, half-English kids like me, and so neither side fully accepted me as one of their own. I played football and basketball growing up, but at uni, playing team sports had this huge emphasis on going out and partying with the team, and that was just not my thing. So again, I still struggled to fit in. I fell into an even deeper depression. I was the odd one out, no one understood me. It felt like I was all alone. My happy moments were on the trails with my best bud, but eventually, when Tigger got older and developed cancer, I stopped hiking altogether. If he couldn't go, I didn't want to either. Those last few months and after he passed were excruciating. So when a lady had posted to a Facebook group calling for fosters for a shelter that rescued meat trade dogs in Dongguan, I volunteered. Almost immediately, I got a reply saying they had a dog in Hong Kong already and she could be dropped off at my home the next day. And that's how Lola came into my life. Sometimes. She was this tiny, anxious thing, terrified of everything and had a host of behavioral quirks. I needed to do something to build up her confidence, so I started hiking again. And she loved going on walks. It was the one time she truly came out of her shell. I saw improvements to both our mental and physical health, and there's plenty of studies that show walking and being out in nature is good for you. For example, it can lower stress, lower blood pressure, reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease, improve improve immune function, improve cognitive function, the list goes on. In fact, in some countries, doctors can prescribe their patients to spend time in nature as treatment. Fun fact, 3/4 of Hong Kong is covered in countryside, and we have 263 islands. The solution was on our doorstep. So come July 2020, in the midst of COVID, when I was asked to go on voluntary no-paid leave at work, I happily agreed. I just learned of this beautiful island off cyclones called Lown, and I posted my plan to Instagram to see who would be interested in joining me. I had 27 dog owners sign up on a weekday. We had a fantastic time. Even though it rained on us towards the end of the trip, we explored the island, we swam in crystal clear waters, the dogs chased each other on the beach. For just those couple of hours, we could forget the noise going on in the outside world. There was just one problem though. During COVID, our local shelters were really struggling. The very places that gave us our wonderful companions. People were emigrating, so they were losing adopters, regular volunteers, donors. Some were at risk of closing down. Hundreds of animals' lives would have been at stake. So to give you some context, I've got some adoption figures from the SPCA, both pre and post-COVID. Between 2016 and 2017, we had 2,600 animal adoptions. 666 of those were dogs. Fast forward to 2023 to 2024, we only had 979 animal adoptions. Only 142 of those were dogs. That's a 62% drop in overall animal adoptions, and nearly a 79% drop in dog adoptions. So I thought, right, I've already got a group of adventurous animal lovers. Let me ask them if they'd be willing to help these shelters out. I could organize monthly trips, arrange transportation, split the cost amongst the participants, and just add on a $50 joining fee per person. I wouldn't profit from doing this at all. This would all go to a different shelter at the end of each trip. The answer was a resounding yes. Not only do you get to explore an area of Hong Kong that wouldn't normally be easy to get to with your dog, but you could do so in an organized, pet-friendly way with like minds to raise money for a shelter and help animals in need. Not only that, but most of the time it would work out cheaper than doing it on your own. It was a win-win. These trips started to grow from 30, 40, 50 to an average of 60 people and their dogs per trip. We raised funds and awareness for local shelters whilst promoting adoption and human and animal welfare. And that's how Exploring Dogs came to be. It was a group of dogs exploring, but it was also a group of people exploring the joy and power of getting out into nature with dogs. It was the ultimate antidepressant. That was my metamorphosis. For the first time ever, it felt like I'd found a purpose and a community to which I was proud to belong to. A community where both Lola and I were accepted for who we are. Before founding this community, both Lola and I were quite jaded and let down by people. But in starting Exploring Dogs, we discovered that actually there's still thoughtful, considerate, generous people out there. And it's thanks to Lola and hiking that I was opening myself up to these people again. Dogs were helping me reconnect to society. And I've met some wonderful people and their dogs along the way, some of whom are here supporting today. Exploring Dogs has been running for nearly 5 years now, and to date we've raised over 300,000 Hong Kong dollars for 24 different shelters and charities. Thanks to my work with Exploring Dogs, I had the opportunity to interview for a role with the SPCA as a content specialist to write for their corporate magazine. I I've now been working with the SPCA for just over 2 years, where I get to work with them towards their vision of creating a Hong Kong where all animals are treated with compassion and respect. And I get to take out their rescue dogs to explore the outside world and increase their chances of adoption. Now, if there's something I wish someone had told me when I was struggling to find my purpose or place in society, it's this. It's okay if you don't know what your purpose is just yet. If hiking has taught me anything, it's about the journey, not the destination. Keep an open mind and try everything. Embrace the good and the bad experiences, because that's what makes us who we are. And it's usually where the opportunities for growth lie. Follow your passions. Life is too short to not do what you love. And number 3, if you're struggling with anything, relationships, studies, mental health, please remember that you are not alone. There's a place for everyone in this society, and there are people who will support you. Find your community, or better yet, start one. Which leads me to my next point. If there's change you want to see in this world, don't wait around in the hopes that someone else will make that change, or until you reach a certain milestone in your life to start. Be that change. There's 8 billion of us in this world, but there's only one of you. There's no one else with your background, skill set, outlook on life. You could very well be the first person to have this perspective, and you won't know until you try. And finally, you could go through life without a companion animal, but what's the fun in that? Now, I'm not saying by getting a pet, they're going to automatically cure you of all your life's problems. Okay, it's a lifelong commitment, and you need to make sure you have the time, space, resources, and dedication before welcoming a pet into your life. But if you do have those things, and you are looking for support, joy, unconditional love, it's waiting for you at your local shelter. Now, if this talk has inspired you to do more for animals and animal welfare, here's how you can help. Adopt, don't shop. A lot of these animals that you see online or in pet stores come from who knows where. Have their parents been forced to breed continuously? Are they kept under cruel conditions, like puppy or kitten mills? By buying from a pet store, you could be enabling animal abuse. So please, always opt to adopt. If you can't adopt, foster. A lot of these charities don't have physical shelters, and sometimes they'll have extra young or sick animals that need a little extra love. By fostering, you'd be helping these shelters out, and you'd be giving these animals a fighting chance at a better life. If you can't foster, volunteer. Now you might think, I don't know a thing about animals, I'm just a creative, or my strengths are in finance. Lend your skills to your local shelter. A lot of these guys are run by volunteers, and they need all the help they can get. Even a big animal organization like the SPCA needs help. And finally, if you can't volunteer, donate, because every little helps. Thank you.